Well, hello. Welcome to Perfectly Twisted. I'm Nicole Eggert, and this is Dave Palais.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you
You
doing?
look. I'm doing. You know what? I'm doing really well. Actually, I was.
So
I'm
happy
really.
about the Dodgers, right? I mean, things
Oh,
couldn't
oh
go
my
more your
gosh.
way.
I am. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. I am. So here's the deal. Everyone knows I'm a big Dodger fan. I wear a Dodger hat all the time. Um, but I'm super excited, and the fact that the World Series happens to be LA against New York means a ton to me. I really wanted to go really bad, and then I'm looking at the minimum tickets, $2,000, and then I get a call yesterday saying, "Hey, you want to go to the World Series?" And a buddy of mine who has great seats, we're going to Game 2 on Saturday night to see the Dodgers and the Yankees. So very happy, and
Amazing.
I'm on cloud nine. And then yesterday, I just got back from LA actually a couple hours ago, but I was um, I was at the Laker game last night, opening night, and I was joking around. I know you aren't a huge sports fan, but you're aware of what's going on. So
Yeah.
LeBron James, his son, is on the Lakers too. It's the first time
Yeah.
ever a father
Did
and
they
son have been
play?
on
Did they play?
the.
Did they play at the same time? Yeah,
They
that's a
did. They
yeah,
did. They
that's
got it out of the way. And so that was kind of neat to be at the first time and only time it's ever happened, but had an absolute great time, and it was worth the lack of sleep and everything else. But no, it's exciting time. So yeah, as far as it's nothing I've done in my life that I was responsible for, but just watching from the side between the Lakers and the World Series, yeah, no, I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely excited. You've had a extremely busy week yourself, though. I see you all over social media doing great things.
yeah, busy, busy. Well, first let me say I think we're all pretty happy about the Dodgers. I mean, everybody here in LA at least. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Yes, that's so yay, go Dodgers. That was pretty exciting. I don't think a lot of us were expecting that, but they definitely pulled
No,
through.
with all the injuries, no, did not
Yeah.
expect that at all.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. So I'm happy about that too. Um, well, last night I was not at the Laker game. I was at Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, tell me about that.
Okay, first of all, I'm not, it's not my thing to be an audience, like to be in the audience or to be like and not know anybody that's in the show.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, I felt really weird and out of place, to be honest, but it
really?
was really fun to see it. It's so much smaller,
Of
it
course.
always is, it always is. I don't know why I act surprised, but, so much smaller than it looks on TV. I mean, it's just a little tiny little studio. It's not
See,
very big
okay,
at all.
all right, I got a question. Hold on, I'm gonna stop you because number one, I'm always amazed, especially like when you did Charles in Charge. It's the first thing I thought of when I went and saw that. How do you guys time out your steps even to make it look like it's a bigger room? Like when you walk in through the door to the couch, it's right there. I mean, it seems like it's 5 feet away, but on TV it looks like a normal sized living room or in the kitchen. But is there a trick to making things on TV seem normal size?
Well, no, Dave, I mean, the Charles in Charge set, that was a average size. That was a large average size living room that we
Really?
actually were in. Yeah, and a large kitchen. They were
Oh,
large.
it seems
Yeah.
so small to me sitting in the stands,
I guess because you're sitting in a big, huge, sound stage,
Downstage. Yeah.
so the sound stage is so big that everything else maybe seems small inside of it. Just like dancing, I mean, yeah, it was a regular sized dance floor, so I don't know what made me look at it like, "Oh, this is so small," but, it's a very intimate little, stage, it really is, but they are a well-oiled machine, I will tell you what, the amount of props that they move in and out between and it's live, so we're
Yeah.
watching it live, um, that crew is just they are on top of their game. It was pretty amazing. That part was fun. That's
What
what I
part of
found
town?
fun.
What part of town is that studio?
Hollywood, like,
Okay.
Fairfax District, yeah,
Okay.
it's, like, right there at Fairfax and,
So how did you
Beverly.
decide I'm gonna go? What was the reasoning for going? Like what
Well, just
I'm sure you
because
get invited to a bunch of stuff.
I get invited to a bunch of stuff, and I thought that that would be fun, and, ABC hooked it all up because I just worked with
Of
ABC,
course.
so, yeah, so that was sort of on the table, so, and everybody's always saying to me, "You should go be on you should do Dancing with the Stars," and,
Yeah.
a lot of times my reps are like, "We should try for Dancing with the Stars." So I don't know, I wanted to go see it all firsthand, and it was fun for Keegan, I just love it's more for her, to be completely honest, and it's not that she's a huge fan of the show or anything, but I just like her to have as
Yeah.
much experience as I can give her, so
Exactly. So let me ask you, if they came to you, and not saying you do it or not do it, but dancing wise, what do you think? Are you a good dancer?
No. I mean, like, I'm an okay
I did not
like,
expect you to say that.
I can dance, my problem is choreography.
Okay.
It's not the dancing itself, it's the choreography. That's a problem. That to me, but I don't know because I've never done ballroom dancing, so I know that that's different,
Yeah.
so I might pick it up easier than, like, Keegan trying to get me to do TikTok videos, and they're moving so fast and doing all these I don't know. I just, I don't know. I feel like the choreography would be the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those where you watch and you go, okay, could I do that? In my mind, I know no way I could not do it. But I've never been a dancer. I've never, and I'm always amazed at people that do what you do. And I've had a bunch of my friends say the same thing who aren't actors. He goes, these people are so talented. Not only
Mm.
can they act and they remember the lines, but most of them play an instrument and they can dance and they can sing. And I go, at some point, they probably did something, some kind of training, or that was just part of their growing up. But it seems like, there's a reason why people do what they do in your situation and people like us who just watch.
Well, to be honest, the people that were on last night that were the quote unquote celebrities, only one girl, Chandler, she's from Disney. She's like a trained dancer, singer, actress,
Yeah.
but nobody else is. I mean, you have athletes. They were all
Yeah.
athletes and reality people.
Yeah.
So, when you're a reality person, you don't know if they've like maybe they've done ballroom training before. I'm not sure, but so, they're not trained like theater trained. So I have to give my hats off to them for, doing so well. But yeah, it's funny. And Phaedra was still in it. And she is my favorite. So and she got eliminated last night. So I was really
Oh,
sad. And she did Dalmatian. She was Cruella DeVille, and she was amazing. I just loved it. I was so glad that I got to see her before she
oh, that's
got
great.
eliminated. Huh?
That's great. So from
Yeah.
the time you walk in to the time it's over, how long is the whole process?
Okay, well, let me start by bitching that, we had to stand we had to stand in line outside of the studio for a good hour, maybe a
Did
little
you?
bit more. Yeah, and then, once you get in, it's live, so it's the 2 hours. It's the 2 hours that this show is on the air, so that wasn't so bad. Once it got in and it got rolling, it moved fast pace. It's live television. So that part was fine. And right when you're like, okay, what time is it? Let me get out of here. It's over. So,
Yeah.
that all worked out nicely. Yeah. But I always love the production side of it. So I'm looking at the way the camera rigs are moving, the way the prop departments are in and out. They are smooth. They have a
Yeah.
system and they're fantastic.
What's
Yeah.
funny and I haven't watched the show in a few years. I had no idea that it was a live show till you just said that. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
a live
why
show.
I never thought of it. Is it one of those shows that wouldn't work if it wasn't live? Or is it in
Well,
your
it's a
mind, I mean,
competition. It's a
yeah,
competition show, so I think well, yeah, I don't know. I think it could work if it wasn't, but I
yeah,
think it makes it more authentic when it's live,
okay,
just
yeah,
because then people know there's no editing, there's no stopping, starting, redoing of anything.
yeah,
And there's an excitement factor to live television. There just really is,
there
especially
is.
for the dancers. You have to give it to them because they've got to keep up that high energy all week, all night, all the time. So I think that the energy of the audience and knowing that it's live, the countdown, all of that, I think it helps, boost the energy. So,
I
you
think
know,
you're right on that. I think I was always surprised with television is that the nighttime shows, the late night shows aren't ever live. You know what I mean? The
right.
the the Colbert's, the Kimmels, those shows aren't live shows. They're usually filmed at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kimmel kind of feels like a live show just because well, a lot of them do just because there's the live audience. It
Yep.
still has that good energy though. But yeah, they're filmed, it's still daylight out. Yeah, that's true. And then I was in Vegas over the weekend. I did Making Strides against breast cancer. They had a huge walk. 15,000 people showed up. It was a fabulous turnout. and it was at Red Rock in Vegas. I've never been out to Red Rock before.
Neither have I.
So, beautiful, just beautiful. Definitely a suburb. I mean, man, Vegas. I knew Vegas was huge, but I didn't realize just how expansive it is. Like, wow. I mean, never ever in my history of visiting Vegas have I had to drive 20, 25 minutes to get to the strip.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like that's so it was neat to see. It felt like a suburb of, you could have been in Orange County. You could have been anywhere.
yeah.
It's didn't feel like Vegas out there. It was beautiful. Super beautiful and a
Good.
great event. It was so much fun. And then I took Keegan to see Cirque du Soleil Mystere. So she had never seen a Cirque du Soleil. You
Okay.
know, she's really big into gymnastics, and she loves that tumble track, that long
Yeah.
trampoline. Yeah, and they've got quite a tumble track bit in there. So yeah, it was fantastic. It was a fun, all around fun trip. And then over the weekend, also I did a autograph con called the Hollywood Show across from the Burbank Airport at the Marriott, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of familiar faces. A lot of the Baywatch gang was out there, and a lot of return visitors, and just fun, easy, great to see everybody. Good time.
It did look like a good time. It looked like you,
Yeah.
you really had a great time, this weekend. I love the fact that you're taking your daughter to these things too. It's kind of cool. I mean, not only does it, hey, look, I'm proud of my mom, which I'm sure she is every single day, but at the same time that what you're doing is important. The fact that you're doing something, you went through a tragedy, and that you're trying to make other people's lives a little bit better.
Yeah, and just trying to celebrate with everybody else that's celebrating. I get to be part of that crew now, because before I was with the diagnosed crew, or the treatment crew, and I finally get to be part of the other side, and that's really really such a great feeling. I didn't take Keegan to the convention. I took her the night before to set up and everything. I took her Friday night, and there were people there, and Lisa Renna was sitting directly across from me.
Really?
Yes, and, I wanted to talk to her, and then, I had to go in the back and sign a bunch of things, and by the time I came out, she was gone, and then she
Oh,
didn't show up on Saturday.
no way.
Yeah, so I wanted that would have been 2 housewives in 1 weekend.
Yeah. Wait a second. So was she supposed to be part of it and just didn't show?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. That's
whatever.
disappointing.
I mean,
Yeah, I know, but let's say, I'm going because of Lisa Renna, kind of a deal, and then she's not there. That kind of stinks.
yeah,
Well,
for sure, but I don't think there were long lines waiting to see Lisa Rinna. You know who, a lot of people wanted to see was the Sharknado. So like Tori Spelling, Ian Ziering,
really?
Brian Austin Green. There was a slew of Sharknado. So, and then
Okay.
some of the Sharknado crosses over into Baywatch, like Jason Simmons and the actor who played the first Hobie, the original Hobie,
Yeah.
when Baywatch was on NBC. He Brandon McCall, he was there. And so it was the first time he'd ever done anything with us as Baywatch as a group. So I got to meet
Yeah.
him. And then he also, I think, crossed over to Sharknado or something else. Um, yeah, so it was just, I got to see a lot of old friends and a lot of, catching up, and those are always fun.
Were you close? Obviously you're working at the same time. Beverly Hills 90210 was on. Were you close with those actors? Did you know? I mean, I know we know Shannon Doherty, but did you know the other ones well?
Yeah, Brian Austin Green and I were good friends when we were younger, very good friends,
Okay.
so it was great to see him. I got to catch up with him. Tori, I kind of know, like, barely, briefly, like, definitely been around each other and have a lot of mutual friends, but she showed up and then split really fast too.
Really?
Yeah, and then Tara Reid was there.
Okay.
Um Yeah. And then, it was amazing. I got to see one of the writers on Charles in Charge, Mitzi McCall, and she passed not too long ago, unfortunately. And her husband was there, and he's an older guy, and he recognized me right away. And that was just a, talk about a blast from the past of seeing a happy, friendly, familiar face. Um, that was really cool because he was
That
kind
is
of an
cool.
older guy when I was a kid. But
That
he's
is,
still out
yeah.
there, still doing his thing and looked great and, sounded great and had a great energy. So, life is good. Life is good.
Let me
But, unfortunately, Michael Newman passed from
saw
Baywatch.
that. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
really sad. I mean, it wasn't, a shock, it wasn't unexpected, unfortunately, he definitely had been struggling and had been in the hospital at UCLA for a handful of days, hanging on, but, real strong, what a really strong guy, and just, terrible disease, Parkinson's, so,
Yes.
you know, and, yeah, so, you know, sending him a good send off, and I hope he's out there catching waves and, doing what he loves to do.
No, very sad, especially since you guys have gotten together. You meaning your cast, and you're seeing friends from the past often now, and
Yeah.
it's very very sad. No, I followed it. It's one thing. I looked him up, and I was surprised by how tall he was. I
Oh
didn't
my god,
realize he was 6'5".
giant
He's a
guy,
tall guy.
giant
Yeah,
and
yeah,
huge, like, just
yeah,
built really big too, just a huge, huge guy.
yeah,
He wasn't, I guess he became very much part of the water, training for the actors. When I started, he wasn't quite that yet. Um, so I worked more closely with a guy named Scott Hubble. But Numi was definitely there, and, he was a firefighter and a lifeguard and, um, a real life hero, so
yeah,
yeah, but, at least he got to see the documentary made, and,
yeah.
there was a good tribute to him in there, and he deserved that, and I'm glad he got to see that.
That's awesome. When you
Yeah.
got a question going back to your weekend in Burbank, when you agree to, do an appearance, do you look to see who else is going to be there just in case it's someone that, hey, I don't I'm not going to be in the same room with that person. Like, do you ever look like I would? I'd sell answer for what I would do. I 100% would be, I'm not going to be in a room with that person. I can't stand that person. Or in my mind, I'd go the opposite and say, I'm gonna make them feel uncomfortable. I am showing up. Like I don't know. Have you ever done the list of will go, not go?
Not really, because there's not really anybody that would make me feel that way. I mean,
Okay.
Scott Baio and Josie Davis, they're the only 2 that I'd rather not see,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're not gonna mess with my mojo.
No.
Um, so, you know, and I don't think promoters would put Baio and I in the same venue.
They would
I
know
don't even
better.
know if they would be hiring him anymore. I don't know. Um, but no, I don't really do that. Sometimes I do it just to see, like, who I wanna go meet or, who
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. I do that, but, no, 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 I don't do that.
Did when you do these events for people who are curious, go, wait a second, these events happen. Like, how come I'm not aware? How do people find it? Like, how do people say, wait a second, there's an event going on? Where would they look?
Well, I don't know.
You promote
It's
it through
kind of its
Instagram,
whole
right?
it's
Yeah.
kind of its own world. I usually post when I'm going to one, but it's its own world. People who follow that, they just know which cons are which and which are in your
Yeah.
area. There's the Hollywood show is not the biggest, it doesn't have the biggest turnout. It's more of an intimate thing, but and I've done that a couple times. There's bigger ones like Chiller. I've done that one. It was pretty big, pretty large. There's bigger ones, smaller ones. I'm not really sure how you find out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I don't know. Google?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Just curious. I've never been to one. I have a friend of mine who's an actress, and she's back east, and she's always afraid of her safety. And so she'll like post date everything in social media like she's there now, but in reality, she was there either hours ago or she was there days ago.
Yeah.
She doesn't, she's kind of afraid of stalkers, and so the bad part of the business. I know, your fan base is a little bit different, much happier to see you and nicer, but she's scared to be in airports by herself and everything.
Well, I think most of us do post date everything. We
Yeah.
do. We post it after we're gone. Things like the con, there's certain things you have to post. It's part of the
Yep.
agreement. You have to post so that anybody can come if they want to come see you. Security's really good at these things. I have had a
Yeah.
particular crazy show up, and I believe I was in New Jersey or Chicago. I'm not sure, and got really creepy, and a lot of the security there were undercover, and off-duty police officers, and they
Yeah.
ended up catching the guy. They were watching surveillance around the hotel, and they came to me and they said, "Listen, we don't want you walking around by yourself. Don't go in hallways by yourself. We don't want you going to your room by yourself. Take what a couple of us
Yeah.
with you everywhere you go." So that's happened once, but they were on it, and
Yeah.
super, super great about keeping me protected. And, otherwise, everybody's been super wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean, think about it. People are showing up because they appreciate you. I mean, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That it's not only is it worth your time, but it's also by the time you leave, I imagine you feel pretty good. That's pretty cool.
I do, and it's really funny because people will bring you things. Most of the time, it's things for you to sign, which is always really fun because you get to see, like, new things or pictures you've never seen of yourself. But a lot of times people will make portraits, and this guy comes up and brings me this canvas, painting he did of me, and it's
Wow.
gorgeous. I mean, yeah, stunning. He's so talented, it's amazing. And then I had another and then a little while later, a girl comes up and she's like, "I drew a picture of you."
He's a stick person.
I gotta I mean, and I showed it to my oldest daughter. I said, "Here's the first one, and then here's the second one." She says, "Oh my god, what did you say?" And I said, "Thank you." And she goes, "How did you keep a straight face?" And I said, I do brace myself. I do brace myself before people hand me things. Before I open them, I'm aware that it could be shocking. I'm gonna post pictures on I'll post them on here. So if you
All right.
watch the show,
Yeah.
you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Very funny. But so sweet. The intention
Yeah.
is
The
just so
intention was meant to
sweet.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're like, "Oh, is that how you see me?" Oh my gosh. Great time. Such a good time.
Yeah, it was funny when you were posting pictures from your event of, former pictures of yourself. I was going, I remember that picture. Like, it was really weird, like, wait a second, I remember that picture. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool. I mean, honestly, it's pretty cool. Who gets a chance to do that in their life? That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. It's funny. But by the way, the Baywatch, because, obviously you put a lot of time into it, you and a bunch of people have really worked hard. But when you guys are now seeing each other on a regular basis, is it still the same? Hey, I get to see Tracy today. I get to see. Is it really fun still? Like, it feels like a
Yeah.
family that this is. I'm really happy we did this project because I love these people.
Yeah, and it's great because a lot of us didn't work together, so to have this bond of this, little fun family, that it's kind of, unique
Yeah,
because, you don't see that a lot where all of these people actually get along and enjoy each other and didn't work together but still are bonded, and yeah, it's a great feeling, it's fantastic, and everybody had such different experiences being on such different, seasons.
yeah.
So it's really great to share. And then we did a Q&A. So, when they ask the questions, like everybody has such different stories. It's great to hear and you learn more about them. And yeah, it's a really special thing.
Awesome. That's really cool. It's funny as you're talking, I was just looking at you and I'm going, man, it's amazing where we were a year ago to like where we are right now. Like a year ago, privately you're telling me, I discovered a lump, and how scared you were. And then here we are a year later and you're in recovery and your Baywatch project has been picked up and it's amazing year to year, huh?
Yeah, when they say a year can make such a difference in your life, they are not kidding. I mean, yes, this is night and day. Um, I'm a completely different person than I was this
Yeah.
time last year. I mean,
Right.
and I'll never go back. I'll never be the same person. Yeah, it's really wild. It's really wild, and I'm really glad it's over. Well, at
Yes.
least I'm really glad that part I got through it. I'm glad that's in the behind me, should I say, because I still have a road ahead of me. So yeah, I'll be meeting with specialists next. I just got all the paperwork and a bunch of doctors' names, so I will be scheduling that and, moving on
Good.
to the next phase. Yeah.
Good deal. All right. So I want
Yeah.
to ask you, so what are you watching? What's going on right now? What are you looking at?
Well, I watched Dancing with the Stars. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Um, I caught up on my 90 days. My
Okay.
90 day, it's before the wedding.
Okay.
I I just love it. I love this season. I think it's fantastic. I also caught up on 1,000 Pound Sisters. I really caught up on my TLC. I only watched the beginning of New York, and I was out out like a light. I fell asleep, and
You're the second person to tell me that. They're bored
well,
with it.
I was really tired. It wasn't the
Yeah.
show. I don't
Okay.
know if it was the show or not, but I was exhausted. I'm still exhausted. Um, so I didn't see that yet. So no spoilers. But I know that they're still picking on Bryn. They're still really mad at Bryn.
Yeah.
Bryn's the kicking board, right? She's the whipping boy these episodes. But yeah, the 90 days does not disappoint. I mean, it's the best. It's so weird. It's so amazing. Um, and it's a great cast this year, so I'm super excited.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, the New York, I'm not going to give any spoilers with it, but you know what's it's interesting, and I'm sure you've seen it in your lifetime too, when people, they all of a sudden they're on television and they become famous, I should say, quickly. And when I look at the New York girls, and maybe it's just different in New York, but every one of these girls act like they're just a giant celebrity. Like the egos feel weird. And it's not a thing for me. It's always been a big turnoff for me, whether it's radio or TV, anybody that has a giant ego. But these girls are kind of a little out of control. It's not appealing at all to me. It
Yeah.
bothers me,
Yeah.
you know?
I see what you're saying. I see, yeah, yes. And, some of that is like a New York vibe anyways, and it's on top of this ego. It
Yeah.
makes for a big vibe. Yeah, yeah, they all are the most important person in the world, aren't they?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very strange, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's I can't explain it. I think a lot of them we've seen over the years. It takes years for them to get to that point where they're still that same girl in the neighborhood, and then the New York people act like they're all of them do. I mean,
Yeah. Their
it's
feelings are the most important, their
yeah,
opinions are the most
yeah.
important. Yeah. I agree with that. I really do. Um,
It's it, and maybe Andy understand. Andy, I always thought Andy changed the cast because the other ones were doing that. Like it got too out of control, and then this one quickly I'm a celebrity. I'm a huge star. It's
yeah.
kind of
Well,
strange.
they probably got that just because they jumped into such a huge
Yeah,
franchise, right? And they just got this amazing opportunity and they just yeah, their heads went
yeah.
to the head, didn't it? Yeah.
It,
I
it,
felt
sure, it
that
sure
a
did.
little bit there was a lot of, Bachelor people from the Bachelor Nation at the, Dancing with the Stars, and I kinda felt that about those people
Really?
too. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. But, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, a little bit. Not all of them, but some of them, I definitely got that vibe. But, uh, yeah, it's like you gotta relax because, next season, you're
Yeah,
forgotten about, you know what I
that's
mean?
the way
And
it
then
goes.
yeah. So you gotta be careful. I mean, definitely enjoy it while you have it, but it's definitely a fleeting 15 minutes. So, you know,
Yeah,
be kind.
that's
Stay
funny.
down to the ground, stay down
Uh,
there.
That's funny. I know. I'm not supposed to give information, but I know someone who's about to be on a reality show, a very popular one. And
Uh-huh.
I've known this. I was calling him a kid because he's younger than me, and he used to play for my baseball team. And now that he's in his mid 20s, and I'm like, his whole life's about to change big time.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. To see how it goes, and the fact that his parents were a huge fan of the show, and now all of a sudden their son's going to be on the show and go, oh my gosh, that's not the same. I imagine what's going to happen. That's not the same kid that's lived in our house. Like, what am I watching? That's our, you know what I mean? It's going to be different when you're watching your son on TV
Yes.
that everybody gets to know at the same time.
Yes, and do they get to know the authentic version of your child?
Yes.
And, the internet is so incredibly opinionated with all the, keyboard warriors, and people are not their best selves when they're online and talking about your child. I wouldn't be able to go and read anything. I would be
Yeah.
going nuts. I
Yeah.
I that would be the hardest part, is reading all the negative online about your child.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
That
rough.
yeah, that would be rough. That would be rough. And
You can
when
be
the
a
show,
saint. You can be a
yeah,
saint on these shows, people are still gonna hate you.
it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
When the show gets going soon, I'll tell the audience, your
okay.
audience, exactly. I'll tell you off there, but I'll tell the audience, people like, who's he talking about? It's a show that we talk about on this show, and so I'll tell you exactly what's going on, so the audience is aware of who to look out for. But
Oh, I'm excited.
yeah, it's good. It's interesting, you know. Um, so as far as the other shows go, I gotta say Salt Lake City real quick. Mary has done a 180 for me
I know,
on
I
this
know.
show. It's Mary has been like, what is she doing back? Like, doesn't Andy see she brings nothing to the show? And she's trying. Like, Mary is trying, and she's still a little bit of Mary of nobody cares. Like, she could be at a nice lunch with friends. It looks like these girls are having a good time. Yeah, nobody cares. Tell me when this conversation's over. Like, she couldn't be more rude, but at the same
I
time,
know.
I'm loving it. Like, she's become one of my favorites where I hated her guts before. Now I'm really enjoying when Mary's on the show.
Oh, yeah, I love Mary. She always brought the weird and the awkward, but she's really bringing it this season.
Yeah,
And yeah, I can't get enough. I can't get enough. I can't get enough of her. And, yeah, love it.
yeah,
Love
I
it.
do too. No, I'm enjoying all of it. What I find interesting as far as the shows we watch is of Housewives of Orange County is that if you're looking off the show part and just following on social media or in the news, that Tamara's feelings are hurt. She's not happy, and then she comes out about the therapy deal, and then
Oh.
Alexis is completely, oh, I'm not being portrayed the way I really am, and this and that. And I'm like, you're the one that started the show off, basically on fire, walked into
Yeah.
that room, and
Oh, sorry,
I mean,
Alexis, you got
yeah,
exposed. This is what this is
you got
called, this was
exposed.
exposed, not, portrayed the wrong way. And
I agree with
Tamra,
you.
I mean, Tamra, I she definitely needs some, like, anger management, don't you think? I mean, there's something going
Forever.
on, and I feel bad for her that, she's gotten carried away, and I mean, it really kinda backfired on her. People are not big fans of hers right now, and then her coming out saying she's on the spectrum, did not go well. I have not read anything nice, um, at all. I mean, I don't agree with the way she's treating people and the way she talks to people, but I'm gonna watch, and I'm still, like, a fan, um,
Yeah,
but there's definitely, it's starting to now look like she's the problem, not not everything that she's complaining about. It's just, now it's glaring like she's a big giant red
yeah.
flag.
She is, and that's why I don't know anyone who goes to therapy and maybe has a breakthrough and finds something about themselves and then shares it publicly. Like, usually that, you know what I'm saying? No one, there's a reason why those are behind closed doors, and basically your therapist isn't allowed to share information, but yet you go running out to social media to share, private information.
Right, and I think the fact that she did it after one therapy session, that they're saying that's
Yeah,
not a diagnosis, like, this takes, time and numerous tests
yeah,
and evaluations, etcetera, and, you don't just go and say that. And talking about how most people who are on the spectrum are usually empathetic people, which in my, I'm no expert, but in my observations, I agree with. They're usually the sweetest, kindest, and definitely genuine and honest, and
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I'm not. I don't want to touch that one. I think she
yeah,
stepped in the doo doo. She stepped in the
yeah.
doo doo there. Yeah,
Uh, and yeah, I think she took the wrong angle as far as trying to get sympathy on her side. All
yeah.
right, let's get to your mailbag.
Sure.
Nicole's mailbag. Again, all you have to do is sit there and go to the website perfectlytwistedpod.com. Look for the mailbag at the top of the screen, and we'll get your questions on. We didn't get a chance to do it because the show went long last week, so we'll knock these questions out. This we're going to start. This round is from Denise. She has 5 questions for you. It's kind of
Okay.
funny. The first question fits in perfect to what I was just thinking about Tamara about not having a relationship with her child. It says, Nicole, first question: do you judge someone off of what kind of parent they are?
Yes.
Me too. Me too.
I do. I listen, and I don't wanna say that about Tamara per se, because when there's a divorce and parents are playing the kids on each other's sides, which it sounds like maybe the husband did a little bit of that, the ex-husband, that's a tough situation because the majority of her kids do talk to her. I think she just has an issue with
Yeah.
one child, right? So that's something that is, that to me, obviously, it sounds way more complicated. But especially with deadbeat parents, I I I don't wanna know you.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I there's not much we're gonna have in common at all, and I don't think I'm ever gonna have sympathy for you on anything you've done. I don't, this excuse of the other parent, it's the other parent's fault. Bullshit. I've been through two separations with children and child custody, and that every parent is entitled to rights. You have to be pretty bad if your rights get taken away, and that's what happened with my first child. His rights were taken away, and not by me. I didn't have anything to do with it. um, and the court, decided that, and that's the only way you lose your rights to your children. And if your children don't want to talk to you, to grow up not knowing you or wanting to talk to you, that's also a reflection on you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, Now, unless you have a prearranged agreement, unless this is something where it's a little bit agreed upon, then okay, then I see that. I can hear that and accept that. But when you just fall off or you give up or you don't try, um, yuck, yuck. And I get it.
Yeah.
Kids are hard and they go through their phases and they have their own opinions and they might have their own mindset, but you keep trying because that can change. And they'll see that effort. When when your child has a problem with you and you give up and throw in the towel, all you're doing is, enforcing that their opinion of you is right. So,
Exactly.
you know, so you have to keep trying. Like, if I lost anything with my children, I would be like outside the school just to wave at them, just to see them, just to scream, I love you. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't live without seeing my
Yeah.
children. So,
No,
um,
exactly right.
yeah. So to an extent, yes, I do judge.
Yeah, I do too. And it works the other way also. If you're a great parent, guess what? You
Yeah,
go up a bunch of notches in my book.
a
You know?
100%. Yep,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next question. Nicole, do you like people who have a dry sense of humor?
I do. It's my favorite
I do
kind of
too.
person.
Yeah, I do
Favorite
too.
kind of person. Yep. They get me, I get them. I appreciate it 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. I think it kind of shows a high IQ. If you can sit there continuously with your dry sense of humor, I think you're pretty bright. A lot of people can't do it, and if you
Gosh.
have it, and if you can catch the jokes, I think it's even better. But the dry sense of humor, I think, is underrated.
Oh, underrated, and I will take it over like a jokey, slapstick
Yeah.
kinda humor every day, all day. Um, yes. My future partner husband will have a dry sense of humor. I guarantee that. Yes.
All right, next question. Nicole, what do you think about couples who share bank accounts? Do you think it's a good idea for couples to share bank accounts?
I don't care. What do I care? Um,
Well, your future husband, you just mentioned it.
well, I don't count other people's money. You do what you want with your money. For me, I think that, it kinda all depends on the relationship, really. It's circumstances, everybody's different. How much do you trust the person? How deep is this connection? I don't know. Um If people wanna keep their own account and then have a joint one separately, great. If you just wanna go all in, why not? Like, I think
Yeah,
that's a very personal situation that I think only the people in the couple can make that choice. That's
yeah.
theirs and theirs alone.
All my friends who did the separate bank accounts, they all ended in divorce. It was like they almost started with 1 foot ready to go. It's got like I don't
Yeah.
have one friend who did the separate bank accounts where they didn't get divorced.
Well, because then you start like letting money get involved in the relationship too, right? Because
Yeah,
then you're like pulling from, and it becomes a little bit
yeah.
more, money
Cable
becomes
bills due.
personal.
You have the electric bill. Hey, you gonna pay the electric bill? It's your name. I mean that
Yeah.
kind of deal, and then it starts a fight that maybe shouldn't be a fight.
Right.
I don't
It's
my
kind of like a
opinion.
roommate situation, and don't
Yeah,
most roommate situations end
yeah.
poorly? Um,
You're 100% right.
yeah.
Good point.
So, I think a joint one is a good idea, but again, this is very, very personal to people, and they get to make up their own mind and what works for them. But, yeah. But maybe
Exactly.
one, unless let me just say, unless there's red flags, unless you're going into this relationship where you're seeing a lot of red flags and people are saying to you they're seeing a lot of red flags, then maybe, be a little bit more cautious. But if not, yeah, whatever. Power to you.
They, I'm with you. All right, Nicole, outside of Los Angeles, what is your favorite city?
Well, New York,
Yeah.
definitely. And then yeah, I mean New York for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in as again, I was in LA last night and I was born in LA, lived in LA through, the years I remember the most. And then, came to San Diego for college. I love Los Angeles. Like the traffic I could deal without. It took me 3 hours to get to downtown LA yesterday. That was a little frustrating. The fact
Yeah.
that it's at 1.3 miles to go and it was going to take me 17 minutes to get there, that bothered me, especially when I had to pee.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
I'm almost there. Like I can see the building.
Yeah.
And you know how your brain works? Like the second you walk in the house, you finally go to the bathroom. But I'm like,
Yes.
I see the building. I'm ready to pee right now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
dying, just
Yeah.
dying. And but I do. I love the city. I mean, there's so much going on. I talked to friends last night who used to work in San Diego and now work in LA, and they're like, "Let me explain my week to you." One guy said to me, he goes, "I'm doing opening night of the Lakers," and he goes, "Tickets for this thing are ridiculous, but yet I'm in for free. Tomorrow I'm going to open the new building that the Clippers have. The Clippers have a brand new building across from the Forum. I don't know if you're aware of this Intuit Center, and Steve Ballmer, the billionaire, put it together. And he goes, I'm opening that building. Then I have Thursday night football, the Rams and Vikings. And then I have, two games in the World Series. Then I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to New York for 3 days. And he goes, that's my week. He goes, that's my week.
That's
And
amazing.
it's like, dude, that's a great week. He goes, I'm part of like the big party that's not only on television, but it's the fabric of what the city's talking about right now. He goes, it's really cool. And I go, that's how New York feels to me all the time too. When I go back, like you can feel the excitement of what's happening in that city all the time. I enjoy it. Some people say it's too much, but I really love it.
Oh, I love it too. Wait, speaking of all this, have you been to that place where it's like an ism, the sports place where it's, like the dome where you
Oh, I've
sit?
not been. Yes, I want to go. It's
What is that what's it called?
it's right by it's right by SoFi Stadium and then to it center in the Forum.
Yeah.
And basically, for people who don't know what we're talking about, it's like a theater where and a bar. I mean, you can get food. Tickets are about $70 to $100, but it gives you the feeling of actually sitting in the stadium or the arena in like the first or second row, and the camera angles feel like you're actually there. Like I got to
Yeah.
check this out. I want to see what it's like. I want to try it out.
Yeah. It's like a three-letter name or four-letter name, like, shoot, I had it. It's a strange name. I don't really get the name. I don't know what
Yeah,
it stands for.
it looks
Um,
cool as could be.
Cool as can be. Yeah, when the Mets and the Dodgers played, someone from Fox News, Fox 11, like KT, like,
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
Morning America, not Fox. They were there broadcasting, and it was just like people were like behind home plate, sitting there eating, watching the game, and it,
yeah.
it goes around like it's a surround, and it has all the sound. Yeah, it looks fantastic. So,
I'm going to one of these. I got to catch an event in there. And this
yeah,
is
I
the kind of thing
figured.
I think takes off that you're going to see this all over the country. You're going to see these
Yeah.
all over the place.
Fabulous
Okay.
idea. I figured you
Yeah.
would, if you hadn't been there, I figured you would want to,
Yeah.
so,
No, I got to.
yeah,
I got to try it out.
yeah.
I'll spend the money and
Cosm?
again,
Cosm. It's called
is it
Cosm?
Cosm? Okay.
Something like
I,
that.
you might be right, but I think it does start with a C.
I think it's
I think
Cosm.
you're right. I think you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'll let you know when I try one of these out. That's pretty cool. All right. Last question for you, Nicole. Have you ever chosen money over happiness?
Um, well, that's interesting because I've taken money, for, like, let's say a perfect example is that show Splash I did that was a high
Okay.
diving competition
Yeah.
where I'm deathly afraid of heights. I had no diving experience like that. I was scared to death every day going to work. But the competitive side in me kicked in, and it's like every week that you stayed, you got paid more and more money, right? And
Yeah.
so so I don't know if it's like definitely my happiness, because I don't think I would, but I've done that where I've
Yeah.
like taken the paycheck to then be terrified,
Yeah. That
and
no.
going, "What the hell did you do every day when I woke up? Like, what are you doing? Are you nuts?" Um, but I looked at it as more of a challenge. So, but that kind of, I mean, I definitely had moments of crying. Definitely had moments of misery, black eyes and bloody noses and going, what am I doing?"
Oh my
Sitting in the
gosh.
rain on the high platform, like, "What am I doing here?"
How
Yeah,
high up were you? How high
huh?
up? How
Yeah.
high up were you?
Oh, it's the 30 meters, right? It's
Oh my
30.
gosh.
It's
Oh my
high.
gosh.
It's
I'm afraid of
high.
heights.
And the thing
Yeah.
is when you're up there, okay, when you look down, you see the bottom of the pool. You don't see the water. So it's that the height that you are up plus the depth of the pool.
Yeah. Another 12,
That's what
15
you
feet.
feel
Yeah.
like. So it's a 20, 25 foot deep pool, right? They're
Wow.
close to 30 feet deep. It's on
Wow.
top of, so it doubles it. It feels very high. It's
Yeah. No.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no,
So I don't
not
know.
on
I
the
don't know if I answered that question properly. I don't think I would take nobody's ever offered me money over happy. Like I've
I
never
don't
had to
me neither.
choose. I
Yeah,
don't
no
think I've
one's
ever had that. But that show, I would say,
yeah.
that's the closest to it.
When I was walking out of it's crypto.com arena, and I used to be Staples Center. I was walking out and they had a ladder that went all the way to the scoreboard. And the guy next to me said, "Hey, how far up do you think you could get up that ladder?" I go, "Two steps." I go, "There's no way I could go up on that ladder. No way." It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Christmas lights scare me. Yeah, no, I'm not. It's funny though. I love the tall buildings in New York, but I have no desire to feel the air like you did on the diving board.
Diving
Yeah,
yeah.
no way at all. No, not at all. All right, Denise, appreciate the questions. That was awesome. Again, if you have questions for Nicole, all you have to do is go to the website, perfectlytwistedpod.com, look for the mailbag, put them in, and we'll get them on the show. But otherwise, have a great week, Nicole.
Yeah, you too. And everybody enjoy your week. And don't forget to subscribe.